Martial arts and life have a lot in common. Both take a tremendous amount of patience, determination, grit, a strong mindset. And to get either done correctly, you need the right people to listen to. This is Beyond the Mat, the podcast where real talk meets raw insights. Get ready to dive deep into the world of martial arts, coaching, business, and health as we bring you candid conversations with professionals, coaches, authors, and entrepreneurs who are making waves beyond the confines of the dojo. From the adrenaline-fueled arena of combat sports to the boardrooms of successful enterprises, Beyond the Mat is your go-to destination for real and raw discussions, plus invaluable lessons learned on and off the mat. So, if you're ready to unlock the secrets to success in every aspect of your life, let's do this. Live from the Great 1-8, this is Beyond the Mat, where warriors are made and legacies are forged. Here's Mark Cox.
We are live on Facebook. You guys are out there. It's been a little minute since you guys seen me live. A little bit of life got in the way, a lot of traveling. But now we're here with Anthony. Got to meet Anthony, Marine out of, we got to meet each other. I think we're in Maryland. I think that's where we got to sit and talk to each other for a while and got to know him a little bit. So we booked a show with you. So with no further ado, Anthony, I'm going to go ahead and let you introduce yourself, kind of what we're going to talk about today. And what you're doing with your life and who you're trying to help, and then we'll just jump right into it. So with no further ado, Anthony, all over to you, sir.
How y'all doing? My name is Anthony Cutno. Originally, I am from New Orleans, Louisiana. Right now, I am in Dallas, Texas. Retired Marine, retired in 2018. And right now I am a motivational, inspirational speaker, and my goal and my purpose is to help men and veterans, especially disabled veterans, just like myself, being a disabled veteran. Battle through all the trauma, trials, tribulations, mental issues, health issues, marriage, life, and just turn all of that into positive energy to use and to grow and to basically not make nobody kill themselves and go to hell. What happened.
Yes, and that's definitely a worthy plight for sure. Let's talk about, first of all, how long were you in there for? How long did you serve?
So I joined the Air Force in 2004. I got kicked out in 2005. I won't say it was March. Yeah, March of 2005. And a couple of days later, it ended up in the Marine Corps, which ultimately changed my life and put me on the path that I'm on now. Through some medical issues, mental issues, TBI. I medically retired in 2018, so total 14, 15 years.
You were in there for a minute.
Yeah.
For a minute. Did you have deployments and stuff in your state?
No, I never went to Iraq. I never went to Afghanistan, but I did get to travel the world twice and see lots of things in the world, doing personal security detail and MSG duty, and just being in the ring, just traveling around the world, seeing different things, doing different things.
So that, I guess, that's still deployment of some sorts out, just not in Iraq and Afghanistan for sure, but definitely out there doing what our Marines do. Well, with that being said, when you say that you had, your goal is to help with veterans, and what have you experienced in that? Let's talk about that part of it. What have you experienced or trying to help? What is your trauma that you turned into, like, okay, I'm going to turn this into where I've overcame this and now I'm going to help others do the same?
My trauma came from life, mental issues, death. I've actually experienced death a few times. Um, Marriage, divorce, depression, suicide attempts, thoughts. Right now, I'm going through my depression state right now as we speak. The life, voices in my head, can't sleep at night, you know, all of that, and how I, through therapy, self reflection, all types of medical issues that I experienced with, and I literally just one day the Lord came down and dropped me to my knees, put me on my face flat out, snot running, nose crying, and he was like, "Look, this is why you're here." And then literally a couple of days later, through my Sergeant Major Clay, shout out to him, my mentor, like, well, listen, he he called me, like, could check on me like he usually do, and then he was like, I talked to the Dr. Reed about your life, and then that's how me and him met, and talking, and went to church, got back right, and then this is my purpose. My purpose is to basically, I was meant to go through everything I went through. I was meant to die the amount of times that I died. I was meant to go to hell. I was meant to see what I see, learn what I learned, be told what I told, and basically to not be a messiah or prophet or anything like that. Just basically be the example, be the vessel that veterans and men and fathers like me, we go through things for a reason, and we are built to handle those things. And we need somebody out there, and that is me. I am that somebody. I am that vessel to be the example that, look, you can be in the branches, quote, quote, the easiest branch, Air Force, the hardest branch, Marine Corps. You can make it through. You can make it through all the trauma that you're going to go through, all the pain, the tears, the blood, sweat that you're going to be given. You can go through divorce. You can go through depression. You can go through suicidal attempts, suicidal thoughts. You can go through hearing the voices. You can go through the nightmares. You can go through the nights up late. You can go through feeling alone and all of that, and still come out and turn that into something positive. And I did that. I experienced that. I am going through that right now, currently, and I'm still here. And look at what I'm doing now. I know I have a metal plate in my head. I have a scar in my head. I'm trying to show it, but I have a scar in my head. I have brain damage. My physical brain is damaged. I have scar tissue in my brain. I have seizures. I have epilepsy. I have nightmares. I have all of that. My body hurts constantly, the pain that I'm in 24, 365, and I'm still here, and I'm not the only one. But I am in a position to be the voice, to be the example that you can make it. And then, like I said, I'm not the only one, but I can be the voice for those that can't do what I'm doing.
Well, I think it's, as June comes around, nobody, men's mental health, that's June month, but nobody talks about that. We're too busy talking about every other thing except for men's health, which is, as usual, that I see as far as that goes. So I think what you have, but let me ask you this question. Talk about what you meant by that you've experienced death. Let's get that story out there. I want to know what that's about there.
So, I've died, and let me say before I tell this, that I have memory issues. I have long-term and short-term memory issues. I do not remember my childhood. I know flashes here and there and things. I do remember timelines getting mixed up and this and that, but these are things that I remember like it was yesterday, like it just happened. And I didn't know I had these memories until they came, and then I started asking questions, and they were verified. So and then when I had my spiritual awakening, he slowly started sending me back my memories, and things started, connecting. And so this came to light last year. So the first time I died was before I was born. So I was born on October 22nd, 1983. And I died before I was born. So my mother was having a C-section, and she was not supposed to have kids at all for her own medical issues. But she ended up having three total. But I had an older brother, but he ended up dying. I think it was a miscarriage or a stillbirth, and then it was me. So no, it was two. It was two, and then it was me. And then so during the C-section, she had woke up during the C-section, and so you saw all of that and all of that, and so she ended up dying, and I died. And when I died, all I heard was screaming and yelling and just blackness. And 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 so when the doctors brought her back, I was still dead, and I just came to. She was like, I just came to, and I was born. And then the second time when I died, I was adult. I was in my late 30s, and that I remember, because I don't know if I died when this happened, but I believe I did, but I don't remember, or I haven't remembered yet. But the second time I died was I had passed out on set. I was doing a set. I was doing movies back in New Orleans, movies and TV shows, being a background extra. And I forget what movie I was doing, but I was on, from what I was told from my sister, I was on the video call with her, and I just passed out. I just boom. She was like, I just passed out, and I ended up going to hell. And when I was in hell, I was standing on like a cavern, cliff type of thing, and all I can see is the souls just falling, hearing the screaming. I can feel the heat. I can taste the blood metally taste in my mouth. I can taste it. I can smell it. And even right now, every day, I still hear all of this, the screaming. I can see souls being snatched up as they're falling, being grabbed, and then standing next to me is this shouty figure with these red, fiery eyes. And all he said was, "This is where you're going. This is where you're going. This is where you're going." And then I ended up just coming to. And when I came to, I was in the hospital, and it was like I was a John Doe for like a day and a half or whatever. And when I came in, and coincidentally, this is how it was verified. Coincidentally, the next time I died, was I was walking outside my apartment, going to the VA and going to see my neurologist. And I was walking outside of my apartment, and I get dizzy confusion, dizzy spells. I be confused, my equilibrium be off and all of that. And this happened, and I ended up falling head first down the stairs. And the stairs of my apartment were metal and concrete. And as I'm falling, I'm coming in, coming out, coming in, coming out. And when I'm passing out, I'm going to hell. And it's like the same conversation is just keep on going. And I'm going back and forth between here and hell. And the figure, I don't want to call them a demon, because I don't know what it was, but the figure that was there was a shouty figure with blue fiery eyes. And this time I'm standing in a hallway, It's a dark hallway, and it's doors on all sides of the hallway, and it's like just goes on forever. And as he's walking me down this hallway, I'm hearing stuff banging on the doors. I'm hearing the screaming and the yelling, and all of that. So many souls being tortured in these rooms, and then it's yelling and screaming and all of that. Again, I feel the heat. I feel the taste and all the same as all of that. And he said, "This is where you're going. This is where you're going. This is where you're going." And like I say, I'm falling down the stairs at this point, and each time I'm hitting my head on a pole, that's when I wake up and I pass out again. And it must have been like muscle memory from McMap or auto fighting or whatever, that when I'm coming to and my neighbor is watching me fall down, and as I'm coming to him and I'm hitting my head on the pole of the apartment below me, and I'm coming to, I'm literally in the middle of rolling over and picking myself up off the ground as I'm waking up. And as I'm picking myself up off the ground, he like, "You all right? You all right?" And I'm like, "I'm fine." And I get in the car and I drive to the VA, and I tell my neurologist what just happened. So they do their tests and all that stuff, and come to find out, I have blood on my brain. I have blood that's going down my brain, and that's the melody taste that I'm tasting. That's the
Ah,
smelling that I'm getting. And I had that for like 3, 4 months, 3, 4, 5 months. I couldn't drive, couldn't do anything. And even like I say, right now, I still have that smell. I still have that taste. It doesn't matter what I'm smelling. I have to, like, I like spicy food, so I naturally season my butt. I have that, and I never sweat before I ate. I never sweat in my sleep, none of. But now, like I have on a hoodie. I have on a hoodie right now. My apartment is like 70 degrees, and like I'm constantly cold. And when I'm hot, I'm cold. If I'm cold, I'm sweating. When I'm sleeping, I'm sweating. I'm all these is still right now. When I met you, all that is, I'm still having all that visions, all that right now. And
mhm.
the blood was on my brain for a while, and then those are times that I died.
That's interesting. The first one you talk about, you saying that your mom passed away doing birth and they brought her back. Is that correct?
Right.
So during the C-section, your mom passed also. She have
Mhm.
any of the same symptoms of that you had when you talked to mom about this? Is mom still with you or no?
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, she's still here. Yeah,
Yeah.
cause I always had like night visions or whatever, and when all my mental stuff, my brain came to it, that's I just assumed it was all of that. But when I had my awakening and actual memories started coming back and connecting, and I asked her and my dad, and it was like, yeah, my mom was like, the screaming that you heard was more than likely her and the doctors. And my dad wasn't allowed in the room because of the type of birth that it was. But he was outside the room trying to get into the room. And the security had to come grab him because she woke up screaming and all that stuff. So he's outside the room. So he was like, yeah, that actually happened. And my mom said, like, yeah, that actually happened. That's more than likely that's what you heard because she saw me. Like you can see, she saw me.
Yeah, that's quite a story. That's quite a story. That's quite a story. Now, the other stuff that happened to you was you were in service at that time then also when all this went down? Is that correct?
No, no,
Are
I wasn't.
you're out of service now when once this happened, correct?
Yeah, yeah, because when I was in, that's when I found out that I had the scar tissue in my brain. That's when I found out how old the plate was and everything else. I was going through the medical board process, and they was doing all the scans and everything. And he went down the line like, did this happen? Were you angry? Were you violent? This and this and this and this. And he showed me how, I don't know what side, but yeah, well, he showed me the indentation, and it's right here. It's pushed down on my brain. this same plate that he went through, like this plate is not supposed to be in my head. This plate is supposed to be changed out, and it's not. And this is caused a lot of issues.
Mm. So when you have that, when you talk about, the mental health of things, and you're talking about now, you even still feel your depression and stuff at this point. Is that correct?
Mm.
Yeah. And so when you're helping other men, how do you help deal with that? You know what I mean?
I use me. Like I talk about me.
Hmm.
Like, cause I know me better than me. Nobody knows me like me. I've been through things. I know other men that have been through things, veterans that have been through things, tell me stuff. We talk and all that stuff, but I only know so much. I only know what they tell me, and
Uh-huh.
then but me, I know me. And then the amount of things that I've been through, the amount of things that other men that I know been through, we all been through same things, similar things. It's just that our experiences are different, but we can all relate. But like me currently going through everything now, still going through it the rest of my life, I can only talk about me from my experiences, and I can relate. I can relate to what they're telling me, and I can say, okay,
Hmm.
you tell me this, this, and this. You experience depression. You experience suicide thoughts. You're going through divorce. You're going through child support, not seeing kids, financial issues, mental issues, hearing voices, not sleeping, all that stuff. I'm going through that right now. I'm going through that right now. Nightmares. You hearing things. The paranoia, you have to sit in a certain way. You gotta, only certain people can handle you. You can only be
Hmm.
around. You only, you feel alone in a room full of people. You love. They care about you, but you still lonely. You still feel alone. Like I'm going through that right now. I go through that right now. I go through, spending all your money on lawyers, child support, still have to survive, still have to be a man. That's how I was raised, that having that pride of being a father. So I speak from my own experience because I'm going through them. I went through them. So being away from family, being in the jungle, being in this country, all this stuff like that. So I speak from me, from my experience. From man, I have no issues, no problem talking about my issues, talking about my depression. I understand now why I had to go through what I went through. Through all of this, I went through all the therapies and everything. So I just use
Hmm.
me.
Right. I listen as you say. I would imagine. Well, most men, first of all, most men's not going to talk about it much. You know what I mean? They're
Mm-hmm.
and then if of course, as a man, if your trust is at all questioned, if you tell somebody and your trust is out, then a man will clam up even more, you know, and you'll hear a guy say quite often, right now, I'm good. Yeah, I'm all good. It's
Mm-hmm.
all good. Which really kind of means it's really not all good. I think that I hear the same stuff. I did this also. I went through a divorce after 20 years of marriage. I raised my children as a single dad. That's not something you hear very often. I know the struggles I had when I did it. Um, and yes, and a man's natural tendency is to be a provider, and so I've done the same thing that you're talking about. Lawyers, where's this money going to come from? I still got to maintain, um, stuff for my own children and make sure that they're provided for. Where we probably take in a lot less to make sure everybody else around us is taken care of. I'm sure you hear that same thing amongst the men in circles. Marriage is a tough thing as it is. It's work, and then if your partner, you know, steps out on you or something to that effect, it even affects us more mentally. And now, me personally, I did a lot of this stuff, and I see in my own boys, my own young men, they're all young men now, but I'm an older guy now, but I see, I don't know, I see more depression in our younger youth than I ever
Mm,
did as a youth. You know what I mean? I don't know if it's just I was just too active. I just played a lot of sports. I didn't really have social media when I grew up. I was born in 61,
right.
right? So I was born in 61. So, 80s, I'm I graduated in 1980 in high school, right? So we just didn't have all this, pressure of social media and stuff like that. And the pressures that we have. I didn't see as much as I do today. Even today, there's a young we had black belt testing. There's a young man that's testing out in Georgia when I was there, and he's still wearing a mask. And I asked him about that. And I asked him, I said, "Hey," I said, "why do you wear that? Do you feel like you're really going to get sick, or do you feel like it's a self-confidence thing? And when you wear it, you know, you have a security." And he told me straight up, he goes, "I think it's the second one." He goes, "I don't think I'm going to get sick." And I said, "What?" So I said, "You kind of use the mask as a mask to, whether, he's a good looking, um, young African American kid that's just had great leadership skills. And he's the one that led the team." And I told him there, I said, "Hey," I said, "you need to," and he took his mask off that day. And I said, "You lead the team without the mask on today. Maybe that's your first step." And I said, "You're good looking, young." And I said, this pressure that you guys feel from this COVID or whatever else it brought along, it's just, and that's a young man. Now, this is a young kid at 15 to 16 or something to that effect, already in these mindsets of grown men. And so I don't know. And do you not find it hard, Anthony, to get a group of guys to get around and talk? Do you find that hard?
No, no. What I find hard is the wanting to open up and
Mhm.
being honest about it, and that's where I say that I come in at, because being the icebreaker, like, hey,
Uh-huh.
this is what it is, like at the He-Man event, He-Man community, this that's what we do. This is what we talk about. Lift each other up, on the spiritual side, mental side, health side, business side, all of that, and just open up. And I found, for me, when I started doing that and meeting other, my other Marines that I still know, that we still talk. This is what we talk about. We talk
Right.
about this stuff. And so now it's the comfortability of it, the safe space of it, that it's not gonna, go out and be broadcast to the world, go back, oh, this happened. If a man say that he was molested or something, you're not gonna throw that in his face and, go
Right.
tell this person, that person, that. So that's what it is. That's what I found. As long as you know that this is what it is and it stays here, that's it. That's done. And for me and then my other Marines and friends that we do talk about this stuff, it helps. It actually helps. It help all of us to basically have that release, just to get it out.
Yeah.
Because you keep it bottled up, you take it out on a wife, or take it out on the kids, or you take it out on somebody else, or an innocent person, or you take it out on yourself. So, but no, I haven't found it like that. At least for me, I haven't.
Yes, I think everything you talk about right there is right on the money. Where, especially for a man, if they don't feel like they're in a safe space, they definitely uh, not going to talk. Even myself, I haven't done that He-Man thing you're talking about with Oliver Reed. Is that right?
Hmm.
Yeah, I want to jump in on one of those. I
You
feel
ever
that there's
actually? Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I feel that there's a confidence inside one of those where you might be able to talk a little bit. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Because I think one thing about especially alpha males, um, they, me personally, my stuff when is going through divorce or stuff like that, from my standpoint, is just anger, number one, right? And how to try and keep it in check so that you don't end up doing something stupid, right? Because you're not really talking about that. I personally put myself through 6 months of anger management to get some tools to keep that in check, because all you need is to be a dangerous guy, and then your anger gets the best of you, and something's going to happen, and it's really going to,
Right.
then all of a sudden, the world turns into a shit show,
Yeah,
and so,
especially if you have the training like the Marine Corps, you got
right.
martial arts.
Hmm.
You got that training. It's second nature. Is gonna come out.
Right, exactly. And so I did that myself to try and keep things in check, and I still struggle with that. That's a constant battle. I think that's
Mm,
why I'm so physical. Even at 63, I'm super physical. I'm still on the mat and jujitsu. I'm still wrestling. I'm still uh fighting. I'm still doing that because it's kind of like, for me, it's kind of like a release. It's kind of like a baptism. Like, if I got an hour here, I can't worry about everybody else because this guy's trying to choke me out, and it's like this
mm,
battle, and it fulfills the warriorship that I'm looking for. At the same time, it's allowing me to release this physicality, and it's kind of
right.
a mental, it's a mental, it's a mental shower for sure. Without it, I
Mm,
would be lost. Now, some people are, and maybe that's music or whatever. Maybe that's a singing for them, or maybe it's an instrument they play. It can play out in any all
right.
directions. But I think that what you talk about here, especially about Men's Health, because I'm I'm pretty I'm not one of these guys, even at church, everybody knows me. They do these life groups, and I keep telling everybody, hey, listen, I'm not sitting around a circle with male and female couples or whatever and sing kumbaya and tell everybody in that circle my freaking problems. That's just not going
Right.
to that's not going to happen. And they talk about this often. And so we did some stuff. We've done stuff like um uh, Bible beatdown or Jesus and Jits, where we would do Bible study, but then we fight, or I teach them how to fight, and then at the end of these 8 weeks, if they've never been in a cage before and they want to see what it's like to fight in a controlled environment, they can try it. And so that's what I ended up doing, and
Mm,
I could relate to these guys because we're bleeding together, we're sweating together,
right.
and they're able to open up. And these young guys can ask us, guys that are a little bit older, and of course, 90% of them deal with pornography, or they, anger in their and not happy in the marriage. I mean, it is the same thing for men over and over and over again.
Mm,
And it's a really tough thing because in today's world, I don't know if you agree with this or not, men, with the the feminist movement and everything else that happened with it, men are so degraded in what they are. They're
right.
always
Facts.
stupid, they're not needed. Any of the movies in Hollywood, the dad's some kind of an idiot, the moms
Mm,
comes in, and they're trying to make all the superheroes women now. And it's just like, it's always you go girl or something to that effect, and it's not, we don't need men. Yet us men built the entire world, right?
we
Or
run
when you
it.
need, right, when you need protecting, then all of a sudden the man then you want that man.
Mm,
It's such a weird dynamic for a guy to go through, and it's nowhere that we can really talk about it, because if we talk about it openly like that, then we're even more, oh, you're a chauvinist or you're sexist or some other kind of shit that comes up.
right.
You know what I mean? And
Right.
it just gets it. And I even watch it in my own boys. And like my one son, even him, he had bulimia. He had lost a lot of weight, but he was throwing up doing it. I couldn't find anybody that would talk to, that understood a man going through that, because that's, most people think, oh, women have bulimia or
Women
whatever.
go
They don't
through
have there's no eating disorders for men. Then you come to find out when you start, then there's a lot of men doing it, but there's no one to help a man out. You know what I mean? Because, and that's why I think we tell everybody, guys kind of go in a cave. You hear it all the time. Well, you don't want to talk. No, we just don't do that.
Right.
You know what I mean? I mean, sometimes, I don't know about you, Anthony, I could sit in a car with some of my best male friends, right? And we can drive for 2 hours, never say a word, and just be perfectly fine. Right.
Yes.
And then we'll be at the end of it, we're gonna be like, man, I really needed that. That was awesome. We didn't even say, it's that camaraderie. So I think what you have going out there and how you're trying to do this is why I wanted to have this interview with you a little bit, because I think you still struggle. And I think that's the beauty of what you have to bring to the table is, oh, you're not the one that's, this is what I did. No, I'm still going through this every day. I tell everybody every day, it's a fight for me not to have anger every day. It'd be much easier for me to throat punch somebody than it is to, not. And so it's still a struggle every single day. It's a struggle to have the responsibilities that I have of other people's lives as an employer, or get on stage and talk about being a motivational speaker. And we have this, but like we have all of our shits together, but it ain't, you know what I mean? It's just not. And I think that the realness of that is, I think, what can draw people to you, Anthony, because I knew that we spoke a little bit today, but listening to your stories and, well, I'm sure that God became real to you, because if you're having a peek at hell, that's probably not the place you're wanting to go.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And I know for a fact, because I can go deeper into this, but I know for a fact that those two figures taking me to hell, telling me that's where I'm going, and then me coming back, and then how my life is the way it is. Speaking and writing is literally the only thing I can do. And it's also therapy for myself. So I don't have that release. So I know for a fact, if I die the next time, I'm staying dead, because I got warned twice. I died 3 times. I got warned twice. So I know if I don't do what I'm doing, and then I'm comfortable doing what I'm doing, I have no issues. I'm not ashamed of anything I went through, going through, dealt with, will go through. I have no issues talking about it and speaking about it. And how the people that I'm around, the people that I'm with, the community that I'm around, this is where I have that release. This is where I have the option to actually reach the world that I'm supposed to reach. So I know if I don't do what I'm doing, and how everything came about to me being a speaker and a writer, I know where I'm going when I do die. So, like, I've been warned. So this is what I'm going to do. So yes, he told me, he showed me, he told me, he could show me signs, send me, some of the voices I hear. Some of the things, the voices I hear are not all bad voices.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
And it's not talked about to have these. We don't. I'm a Christian, and most people know that. I know that. It's not something I push down everybody's throat, but everybody knows where I stand on it. And most of the time, I find that funny that, when they're going through struggles, they'll run to me for prayer, or hey, I need some help here. And, we've had the same type of, not me personally, but my oldest son has had, when my nephew died, my sister's middle boy, a firefighter, died of cancer, leaving kids behind. But he had an encounter with him. My son did. And, it was a relief. I don't know why God chose him, but I think because Michael would be the most unlikely person. If it was his mom, my sister, or my mom, his grandma, it would be different coming from them. But coming from Michael on just they were close, as far as an uncle goes, but not to the extent of a mom or a grandmother. And for him to have that, God gave him that vision. And I'm telling you, it helped everybody in the family because of what he saw or how he felt or whatever he was. And I remember it vividly. I'm listening to you, how you say you passed and stuff like that. But I remember Michael being in a very deep sleep where I could not wake him up. He was so in a deep sleep that I couldn't wake him up. And then when he came to, he had told me his story. And I was like, man, that is, I said, that is, explains a lot of stuff right there. A lot. You know what I mean? So I think that as you're moving forward, and I think, I think vets are a good thing because that's the dirt that you chewed. But I think any men that that are looking for something now, have you, outside of He-Man, this website of yours where it says Divine Warriors Dimension, is that your website? What is it?
Yeah.
What is your goal out there? Are you looking to have a place where men can meet together? What is it you're trying to accomplish with your business that you're going through?
So my goal is to basically go out and reach through speaking events and eventually have a podcast and eventually have a coaching community around, and do either one-on-one or a group or whatever the person feels comfortable with. But my goal is just basically just to get my voice out there and be the person that any man, vet, or whoever can actually come to. And those that are like-minded like me, I have no issues teaming up with somebody, working with somebody, doing whatever. But me going through what I went through, I really didn't have anyone to go to. So I know I want to be that person, because I was that person that was looking for somebody to go to, somebody to sit there and talk with that can give me some type of advice, help, because the regular smuggler therapy and all of that, it did nothing for me. It didn't, because I knew the person I was talking to wasn't genuine. So I am that person. That is my purpose. My God-given purpose for being alive is to be my genuine, authentic, raw self. Because I'm not perfect. My life is not perfect, but I am perfect enough. I am a perfect enough imperfection that I am comfortable enough in my own skin that
Right.
I will tell you mine. You tell me yours. I tell you what I did and what I'm doing to actually go through that and make it through on the other side. Because some of the things I went through, I am on the other side of it. I don't go through it anymore. I don't feel it anymore. And other things are going to come up. So I just want to be that person, that on space for other men and veterans.
Excellent. Are you in the process of writing your own book? Now, you said you did some anthologies, you said, is that correct?
Yeah.
And are you trying to write a book now?
Yeah, I am. I'm doing it with Dr. Reed and his
okay.
Bill Crying Academy.
Okay, Doc is helping you. And so, do you have the title of your book?
Yeah, it's the original title was The Example, but then going through what I'm going through currently right now, everything else like that, I actually changed the name to The Journey of the Example, because I'm gonna turn it into a mini series. Because if it's too big of a book or whatever, I'm not gonna go through the whole thing. So I figure I can break up the different parts into smaller books, so people can actually read them. So, but that's the title of it. It's called The Journey of the Example, and it's gonna start from my birth when I died and all the way up until
right. Because in my head, I'm thinking, what a great book it would be. The title is "I Died Before I Was Born." I'm like, that is this, that is an eye-catching, Doc. Because even when I read through it, I'm like, what does that mean? He died before he was born, and then you go through the story of actually I'm telling you, that is captivating. Did you go with that story when you spoke on stage in CLA?
No.
No. I'm telling you, that's an eye-catching story. That is a that isn't quite a story to lead off with, to get people's attention, because it certainly got mine when I'm thinking about that. I'm like, wow, mom passed away, brought mom back. You can still hear things even at that. And then years later, you ask your mom about it, and she says, yes, the screaming you probably heard was from us. Think about that for a
Mm-hmm.
second, just how powerful that small story can be to lead into what it is, and and the path that God, I guess, has made for you. So I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to that book. Maybe when that comes out, we have
Thank
another
you.
one, and we can promote that book once it comes out, because I think, this is a good segue of what's about to come. But even when it comes ready for pre-sales and stuff like that, when you can put out there that, hey, I got to, my pre-sale of my book is coming out, it's going to be out in 6 months or whatever, we get that out there and start pushing what that is. And
Yeah,
and
it's almost done. I have the picture for the cover that I'm gonna use and all of that. So it'll be coming out soon. But that's where we're gonna start. Gonna start off from that, and then I'm probably gonna stop that one when I graduate high school, because that's a whole story in itself.
yeah. Yeah, that's good. I think that you have something very powerful in what you're trying to do. I think your story is very intriguing. You've gone through almost everything. I don't know if there's a man that I don't know that's not gone through it. I tell my oldest son, he's got very lucky. He's got a great wife. My oldest boy has a great wife.
Mm.
And the right wife can take you to places that nobody else can, or they can take you to hell on earth. One of the two, one of the two.
Right,
Right.
right.
And I'm not here saying that men are perfect, but I'm telling you that um, the right kind of wife can take you to places that, and mentally keep you stable as a man, because you need
Mm.
that safe space to come home to, that person that's gonna, do a little bit of physical touch on you, appreciate you, respect what you do. And I mean, it can take a man from ground zero to a hero in 2 seconds. You know what I mean? Because
Right.
it's just kind of what we need, right? A little respect and appreciation goes longer than anything else as far as a man goes. That's for sure.
Hmm. Yeah,
So
and one of the books is gonna touch on that, because what you're saying is exactly how my ex-wife was during my time in the Marine Corps. Because when we divorced, we signed our divorce papers the day before I retired,
what?
and she was that person. She was that person. She helped me do what I needed to do to do all of that
Yeah.
until her job was done.
Right. Well, yeah, that's that's one of those things that's talked about. And I think it's hard for men to talk about failures in marriage, because men take that thing as a failure in their life. You know what I mean? I think that's why even
Mhm.
myself, you stick through it, because you're like, man, I'm not failing. That doesn't bode well in a man's head. Failure does not do well in a guy's head.
Right. Right.
And I think that's the thing about divorce, is it's a mental failure for a man, and it erodes their self-esteem, piece by piece, and it just gets
Mhm.
overwhelming and it took a long time for me to get out of that funk myself, and I stuck through something that I probably should have got out of a long time ago, but just on the fact that, hey man, I'm not losing this, man. I'm not losing this game here,
Mhm.
and so much of the time myself, I'm like, am I highly competitive? Is that why I stuck in there? Did I really want to see, am I really starting to stick in there for my children, or what it was? I just don't need, and today I don't even know what the real answer is to that. I just know that I can tell you this: I grew as a father, went through the divorce for sure. I was a much better single dad raising my kids than I ever was in a married house. It forced me to be the dad that I needed to be. Luckily, I had a studio. I can kind of be involved in my kids' lives and take them to schools and stuff like that. It was hard. It wasn't that easy. My kids had to grow up early. I had a martial arts school, so when everybody else is home having dinner with their children, I'm here at the studio teaching classes. So a lot of times my kids are down here. We're kind of eating food together. You got to stay at the studio for a while until I'm ready to go home, stuff like that. So it wasn't hard. It wasn't easy. I mean, doing it, but I look back on it now and, it is what it is. I'm pretty blessed as far as that goes. So with that, we're going to wrap this up, but why don't we tell everybody where, if they want to get a hold of you a little bit, what the name of your website is. I'll have this out on audio also. There'll be an audio portion of this and you can share that with your people. But where can people get a hold of you? The vets and stuff like that. Any other Marines that are listening? I know I have Marines listening. You know why I have them? I know because they're not saying, I have a lot of guys here and they're not posting any comments because guys don't post comments. They just listen. So that's, I find that ironic sometimes when I'm watching and I see who's kind of listening, and I kind of chuckle to myself, but I'm probably the same thing. So how do they go ahead and get a hold of you, Anthony?
So they can get on me at divinewordsdimension.com. That's the website. Facebook is my name, Anthony Cutno. Instagram is Anthony USMC _504. And you can find me also on there by my name. You can find me all over social media. TikTok is my name, Anthony _504 USMC. So that's my social media handle, and I'm here. I'm available. I want to help. This is my goal. This is my God-given purpose. So ain't like they say, ain't no shame in my game. Like I went through what I went through, so I'm a grown man. So it is what it is.
Yeah. I understand. A lot of respect for you. I look forward to this. I'll get this out promoted for you. All your social media links and everything. I believe you sent that to me on email also. If not, just double check and I'll make sure that that's uploaded to the audio portion of on my website and stuff like that. You'll be able to point people directly. They'll be able to hear us audio wise while they drive. Everybody's always welcome to come back and take a look on YouTube. This will be on YouTube also. So Anthony Cutno, I appreciate your service to our country 100%. And I know with that service comes issues. God turns issues into triumph. And that's what you're here to do. We're looking forward to you changing many, many lives in the years to come, and looking forward to your book, sir.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Good talk today, man. I appreciate you.
All right.
You've been listening to Beyond the Mat. Our passion is martial arts, and that branches off to coaching, business, and health. So we think it's important to sit down with professionals, coaches, authors, entrepreneurs, anyone who's making waves beyond the confines of the dojo. Thanks for coming over. We'll be back soon. But in the meantime, hit the website at markcox.com and hit us up on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Beyond the Mat Podcast. Find the show on Spotify and Apple. Beyond the Mat. Till next time, keep it real.